If you're like I was until quite recently, you probably use Command Tab or Alt Tab on Windows to switch between your applications, and that feels reasonably productive. But what I'm going to show you in this video will make Command Tab seem completely redundant. You'll be able to switch applications almost instantly without even taking your fingers off the home keys. And this trick can even be used for things like window management as well as actually switching between applications. It's a super fast productivity hack. If you're new to custom keyboards, I'll do a little boot camp to get you up to speed. Basically, they're keyboards where you can control and customize what every key does. And the level of control you have is absolutely unbelievable. You can set up keys to do different things, whether you're holding them down or tapping them, and you can set up multiple layers and do all kinds of interesting things with modifiers. If you want to take your computer productivity to the next level, they're an absolutely essential upgrade. So there are several ways into the game depending on how far you want to go down the rabbit hole. I think I've gone about as far down this rabbit hole as I'm going to go, and I've actually ended up designing and building my own custom keyboards, and that process is unbelievably rewarding and satisfying. I've done a whole bunch of videos looking at this process. So when you're designing your own keyboard, you actually go ahead and design the circuit board with the slots for the keys in exactly the place that you want those keys to be, and then you get that circuit board manufactured by a PCB fabricator like PCBWay, who are kindly sponsoring this video. And I'm very happy to recommend this service they provide. Basically, they're very fast, very affordable, create amazing PCBs in a whole range of different colors, including these advanced colors. I was using PCBWay long before they sponsored these videos as well, so I'm very happy to recommend the service they provide. If you don't quite want to go as far to the DIY end of the rabbit hole that I've done, there are off-the-shelf options which are great, very easy and approachable. ZSA make two great keyboards, the Plank Easy and the Moonlander, but their online customization tool is what sort of sets them apart from the real DIY keyboards. It's really easy just to configure these keyboards using their online tools. Let's get back to this layout trick. So we've all got these space keys on our keyboards, which are actually the resting home position for your thumb. It makes it very fast and easy to hit that key. So because this is such a fast key to tap that isn't actually any of your letter keys, we can take this productivity to the next level by doing one simple thing with this key. What we want to do is make holding this key down the equivalent to holding down a whole bunch of modifiers. And that means it will open the door for a huge number of custom hotkey shortcuts that we know won't collide with any of your other shortcuts already on your system. So this key is called a meh key or a hyper key, depending on how many modifiers you're actually setting it up for. And if you think about this in terms of equivalent on a normal keyboard, it's the equivalent of actually sort of holding down 4 modifiers in a really contorted position with your hands. It's just not a practical kind of shortcut. But of course, if you can do it with one finger, it changes the game. So if you're using the ZSA configurator, all you do is you choose the meh or the hyper key for your spacebar as the on-hold function for it. If you've gone down the DIY route like I did and you're using ZMK, the way you set this up is just using the built-in mod tap behavior. So it's the MT behavior, and then you just actually define all of the modifiers that you want as the hold function for that, and then you use the space as the normal tap command. The cool thing about using the space key for this is that that key doesn't get used for rolls. Normally when you're typing across the letters in the home row, you'll find that you roll over those keys. So you actually hold them down simultaneously as you go from one to the other. There's an overlap. And that makes setting up things like home row mods, where you put the modifiers along those keys, pretty tricky. With the spacebar, that issue doesn't happen. Even using it as the leader key for Vim, like I do, going from space to a letter, I find that I don't trigger the roll effect of that, which means we can use the default mod tap behavior, and that means it will fire super fast. So all you have to do is just hold them both down. You haven't got to wait for any delay or anything like that. Just the fact of holding down the space key followed by a letter key, and then just tapping that letter key instantly, it will fire the modded version of that letter key. So you're getting the letter key plus all of the modifiers. So this shortcut is unbelievably quick, and it doesn't impact your rolling or your normal typing on the keyboard. So what we've done is actually set up this unbelievably fast way of outputting very complex keyboard shortcuts. And of course the result of that is we know they won't conflict with any built-in or application specific shortcuts. And this trick even works if you want to use a key on another layer. So if you've got, like I have a weird keyboard with multiple layers, and in fact I've got 2 layers just for my alpha keys, I can still use that second layer alpha key with this trick. So I hold down the space key, and then I roll into my second layer with my other thumb key switch for that second layer, so I can actually access the full alphabet and even symbols on other layers. So you've basically got a huge number of shortcuts here using this system. So with this huge power, we can get to work setting up what I think is the coolest way of using this kind of a shortcut, and that's making application launchers or for window management. And to do this, we just use a tool that can save any global hotkey basically. So on the Mac, I'm using Keyboard Maestro. On Windows, there are other options, including Auto Hotkey, which I haven't actually used. But basically, it's anything that allows you to save and configure a global hotkey, and you of course just match those to the mech key or the hyper key for the modifiers plus the letter key that you want for that given shortcut. So the idea with Keyboard Maestro is you can use the activate command, which will actually launch an application if it's not already running, and it will switch to that application if it is running, and it's instant. It's just bam, and the application comes to the foreground. It's amazing. And you can use the window management side of things, so set up window position actions in Keyboard Maestro where you set the position and the size of the window. So I've got the A shortcut, so space A will give me the left half of the screen tiled and the right half of the screen for B, and I use L for large, which makes the window large, fills the screen a bit like the old Windows maximize button. So it works really well. One of the kind of nice things to do is save a file, switch to another application, hit reload, and then move the tabs or the windows around, and you find yourself doing that kind of a thing quite a lot. And you're just going straight into the applications here with this system. You're not having to cycle through various things in Command Tab. The nice thing about this setup is they're so easy to remember. It's not like you've got to remember which set of modifiers a given shortcut is, especially with these complex ones, to avoid the collisions with other shortcuts. All you're doing is holding down that space key, which is your left home thumb key. There's no thinking. And then you set the shortcuts up logically, you know, so S would be for Safari. You can set that up so it's meaningful to you for your applications that you frequently use. So if you like optimizing your keyboard setup, you should definitely watch this video next, which will show you how to build your own keyboard. Brilliant journey to go down, and I'll see you there.